The train, for its type, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned North-Western Railway. These are the stories of Sodor.
Every business and industry has its risks. My driver told me that once just after we had seen Diesel's accident outside Wellsworth, where the black-painted middy was grumbling terribly at his predicament, but the only one really listening to his gripes was the same one who was engineering the cleanup operation, Mickey. Mickey was the chief of the Fire and Rescue Service, an organisation charged with maintaining safe travelling conditions on Sodor. This meant responding to accidents and breakdowns and taking an engine to the works if necessary. In the event of a trackside fire, Mickey and his water trucks were always at the ready. Mickey was widely respected by both middies and nor'easters as he belonged to neither. He was independent, charged with helping any engine who needed it regardless of livery. There were times he could be a little gruff, however, giving ponderous lectures to those of us who had mishaps, but none of us could really fault him in this regard given the weight of his responsibilities, his unwavering professionalism, and the fact we had all taken his help at some time or another. It must have been the summer of about 1935 when Thomas was coming down the Farquhar branch with Annie and Clarabelle. He was just passing the old mill when he spotted smoke in the distance and assumed the worst. Oh no! The little blue tank engine pounded along the rails towards the source, finding Mickey and a squad of firefighters already there. Alright, good work there, lads. Thomas, just in time to witness another successful drill. A drill? Oh, that's a relief. I thought it was the real thing. Ha! Even if it was, this motley crew would have it extinguished in no time. Isn't that right, lads?
Yes, sir!
So, what brings you out this way, Thomas? Sounds like Annie and Clarabelle are mighty full. Oh, we are, Chief, aren't we, Annie? Indeed, Clarabelle, fit to burst. The way you two carry on sometimes, it's like you weren't built for carrying passengers. You can be so cruel sometimes, Thomas. Yes, they are full. I'm taking a load of workers to the new harbour being built near Elsbridge. Oh, how's that going? Splendid, since we don't have to work with the middies. You companies and your rivalries. Well, I better get going. Nice work, Chief. Later, Thomas. The construction of Elsbridge Harbour was part of the Sodor Construction Scheme, a government initiative aimed at creating jobs for the depression-racked island, and it did, making it very popular, especially by we nor'easters who were given the building contract. I must say it didn't take long for this place to take shape. That it didn't, dear Percy. It always amazes me how quickly they build things these days. You're certainly right about that. I remember how it took us 2 years to lay the track work as part of the expansion to Tidmouth. At the time, we thought that was fast. When do you think it'll be open for business? Soon. They need to do some serious dredging before deep-draught ships can approach. They'll be starting on that as soon as Thomas arrives with the next load of workers. Speak the devil's name and he appears. Thomas, there you are. So good of you to come. Yeah, sorry I'm a little late. Got held up with Mickey in the fire drill he was conducting. That Mickey. Where would we be without him? I know where I'd be, still at the centre of my accident at Knapford. Leave Annie and Clarabelle there, would you, Thomas? There's a line of trucks next to the station. Bring them over here, will you, old boy? Hey, wasn't James meant to be making delivery today? Yes, he was supposed to be here an hour ago. I don't know what's keeping him. Perhaps he wouldn't leave the shed without his 6 coat of polish. 6? I would have thought 7. But as it turns out, it wasn't James's vanity causing delays, but rather the turntable he needed to use to get out of the yard at Carlton. It had jammed while it was being aligned to his track. While the workmen struggled to repair it, my mixed traffic partner was forced to wait, which he did not appreciate. Oh, for crying out loud! Take it easy there, James. How can I possibly take it easy when I'm running an hour late? Mr. Starr's going to have a fit. He can't possibly blame you for a faulty turntable. Don't be so sure. It wasn't long before the turntable was finally fixed and our number 5 hastened onto it, but luck continued to work against him as Douglas was nearby shunting some trucks, blocking the track he needed to use to access his train. Oh, you've got to be kidding! Hey, Middy, hurry it up! Don't go getting snippy with me, laddie. I've got my own work to handle. Well, do it quickly. I'm already late. That's not my problem. Not yet, it isn't. What? Is that a threat? You smarmy little... It was then that it happened. Douglas's trucks became derailed, blocking the line. Oh, that's gone and done it. You idiot. I'd almost think you did that on purpose. Oh, yes, that's exactly what I did. I jeopardized my record just to inconvenience you. You hear that, lads? Dougie's a saboteur. Shut it, you lot. I made no move for your lip. Good thing I still have pleasure to give. Now, why doesn't that surprise me? Fortunately for James, Douglas's mishap didn't block the siding he needed to use to access his train. As he backed down slowly onto the trucks, he gave his rival a mischievous grin, for a very unfortunate thought crossed his mind. What are you smirking at? Oh, nothing. I just realised there's a silver lining to all this. Oh, aye? And what'd that be? That you have to explain to Mickey. Have fun! After savouring the misfortune of the Middy's number 10 an extra moment, James quickly sped out of the yard with his train as he was reminded just how far behind schedule he was. For obvious safety reasons, the speed of a goods train is usually capped, but I'm sorry to say that on this day, James was oblivious to this as he thundered down the line, ripping over the river, past the sheds and through the station. Slow it down, James, we already have an express engine. But James was in too much of a rush to notice, much less care about what Toby had said. If he had paid any heed, maybe it wouldn't have happened. Maybe the axle box on one of his trucks wouldn't have begun to spark madly. In the darkness of the tunnel, the guard noticed this and threw on the brakes. Oh, what now? After inspecting the truck, the guard reported his findings to James's driver. In his opinion, it was still safe to travel, but they would have to move very slowly or risk damaging the truck. To hear that he would have to go slower, further putting himself behind schedule, was very unwelcome news for my mixed traffic partner. There's nothing for it, James. Either we move slowly or we don't move at all. Pursuing the former option, James set off again, completely unaware that one of the sparks to fly from his truck had let in some dry brush on the other end of the tunnel and was already starting to smoke. We did what we could at the harbour before Thomas and Percy had to tend to some shunting at Lower Knapford. After completing their work, their crews had lunch, during which time the two engines chatted. The topic of their conversation was a certain politician who had come to power in Germany the year before. What do you make of this Hitler bloke? He certainly has the loyalty of the German people behind him, but then again so did the Kaiser. My driver mentioned he's looking to undo the Treaty of Versailles. To be honest, I don't blame him. I really didn't think it was fair the way Germany copped it for the whole thing. I was built long after the Great War. Was it really as terrible as they say? Worse, Percy. I'm hoping that bloodbath really was the war to end all wars. Not to change the topic so suddenly, Thomas, but look over there. Look how slow James is going. Oh, this is so easy. Hey, James, is this why you're so late? Are you trying to bring new meaning to the term slow goods? I swear, if you two start, I'm going to bump you both off the rails. All right, no need to bite our heads off. Feels like fireboxes, James. I was only stirring. I'm sorry. It's just been a rough day. How so? But before James could answer, the wail of a siren cut in. The piercing cry made the three Norrises jump as they looked ahead to see Mickey thundering their way with a string of water trucks behind him. As fast as he could, the chief galloped through the station and disappeared. What do you think that's about? If it involves Mickey and water trucks, nothing good. And it certainly wasn't, for the smouldering shrub caused by James's spark had begun to spread rapidly, fueled by the abundance of dry brush and the searing summer heat. By great chance, Lily was nearby with a works train and was able to raise the alarm, which Mickey quickly responded to. Thank goodness you're here, Chief. That fire's quickly spreading. Damaged power pole, I see. Has Soto Electrical been notified? Yes, sir, and they've shut off the power. All right, lads, go to work. Like they had practiced 100 times before, the firemen disassembled from the works coach at the rear and grabbed the hoses bolted to the spools on the underside of the water trucks. With the kind of brave daring that can only come from battling fire, the men set to work extinguishing it. After a few moments of intense hosing, the flames were doused, leaving behind only scorched earth and a broken power pole. Alright, good work there, lads. This is what we practiced for. Now to find out how this happened. I might be able to help with that. The speaker turned out to be the signalman from the nearby junction. He told the chief how James had ripped by his signal box earlier, and that he had surely been exceeding the speed limit, which was bound to be a contributing factor. Is that right? Well, I'll be having a word with James and Mr. Starr. I wouldn't want to be James right about now. Mickey was quick to catch up to James at Elsbridge, and after a brief word with his guard, the cause of the fire became apparent. "Well, what have you got to say for yourself?"
Chief, I'm sorry, but I was running late and...
"Running late? James, a schedule is never an excuse to compromise safety.
Mr. Starr really doesn't like it when we're late.
He likes it even less when his engines start fires."
Mr. Starr,
I heard what happened, James, and I must say I'm very disappointed in you.
Sir, with all due respect, you've made it abundantly clear how important it is we keep to our schedules.
Yes, but that doesn't mean I'm unreasonable. I heard what happened at Carlton with the turntable and Douglas. In light of those setbacks, it was a miracle you got out of the yard at all. I do expect my engines to be on time, but not at the expense of safety or common sense.
I'm sorry, sir.
Mr. Starr, James's actions have caused considerable damage. At least half of Lower Napa will be without power until we can repair it. I've already spoken with Sodor Electrical, Chief. We'll be covering the cost of the repairs. Unfortunately, that means the rest of you will have to take on extra work, as the government has been a little lax in paying us for the harbour job. Oh, not again. Last time we had a client like this, me and Percy were pulling triple shifts at the mines. Are we going to have to do that again, sir? No, Percy. You and Thomas will handle general goods. James will look after the mine.
But, sir...
What?
Nothing.
Good, because I hear the Mid-Sodor Railway is in need of a new generator. If this happens again, I might just offer your services. In light of this threat, an awkward silence fell over the yard, broken by the muffled laughter of a certain nearby middy. Oh, this is just too good. The following week was grueling for us nor'easters. James was stuck at the mines with only the teasing trucks for company, while the rest of us had to take on extra jobs in addition to our own work to pay for the repairs. What made it worse was the middies seized every opportunity to take potshots at us. "You look quite smashing for those trucks, Gordon." "Oh, be quiet!" "Something wrong, Gordon?"
"There's plenty wrong with this, Percy. Forcing an express engine to haul trucks. What an indignity! What a blemish on the LNER.
"Oh, you poor engine."
"Spare me the impudence, Percy."
"You're not the only one to suffer, you know. Me and Thomas have shunted just about every truck on the island."
"Thomas and I."
"Oh, whatever.
Where is your partner in cheek, anyway?"
"I think he's at Wellsworth." And our intrepid shunter was. He was arranging a goods train in the yard, which had been upgraded as part of the Sodor construction scheme, a contract that had unfortunately been handled by the middies. "All right, now just one more. There we are. Phew. Finally, now I can catch my breath. Hello, Thomas." "Oh, bother. I don't think he's happy to see us, Diesel." "I think you're right, Colin. Look, I've had a hard week. Last thing I need is for you two to give me grief. All I said was hello. No need to get all fired up." "I don't get it." "Oh, shut up. So what do you think of the yard, Thomas? A thing of beauty, ain't it? All made possible by the superiority of the LMS.
Your mum did this?"
"Oh, that explains why half the points don't work." "Oh, yeah? Well, let's go."
"All right, Diesel. I'll... Achoo! Excuse me."
"Look, I've told you, you need your smoke box cleaned out."
"Yes, sir. I think I will when we get back to Brendam. Try not to think too hard, Colin. You might hurt yourself."
Yeah, you don't worry about us. Just try and focus on not burning down the yard. I wouldn't waste the effort of...
Wait, stop!"
"Oh yeah, why should we?"
"Because your trucks are on fire."
"What?"
Once more, an errant spark was to blame as the embers from Colin's sneeze landed in the truck directly behind him and was quick to ignite.
"Oh, brilliant."
"Don't worry, Diesel. I'll handle this."
"Colin, don't!"
Too late, the mini tank engine surged back to collide with the truck, forcing some of the coal to spill out and for the fire to spread.
Whoops.
"Nice work, dummy. Now we'll probably lose the shed and the train."
"It's worse than that. There are 2 tar wagons back there. If they go up, the whole yard might go with it. What do we do?"
"I know what I'm doing."
The 3 engines were quick to flee to the far end of the yard as the fire slowly crept into the shed, edging ever closer to the tar wagons. Once they were at a safe distance, Diesel's driver rushed to the station to telephone Mickey. During the anxious wait, the yard's workmen assembled, but after doing a head count, the foreman discovered a problem.
"Wait, where's Cooper?"
"He was by the water tower last I saw."
"Bother!
We have to go look for him. He might be hurt."
"Are you nuts? It's too dangerous."
"Fine, I'll go look for him. You stay here."
"Fine, but if you get blown to bits, don't expect me to cry for you."
Blimey, would you look at that? Help! Help! There he is!
Stopping just short of the injured workman who had twisted his ankle from falling, Thomas's driver and fireman scrambled out of his cab to grab him before throwing him back aboard their engine.
"Right, let's go!"
But Thomas's wheels barely turned when disaster struck.
"Ow! Oh, come on, really? A broken piston now?"
"Gavin? Pete? If you tell us to leave here, Thomas, I'm going to thump you with me shovel. Look, I can't move, and leave that to me. Colin, what are you doing here? Getting you out of here. Right, let's go. I must be the only sensible engine on this island. Come on, you two, get out of the way. Careful, Chief, there are tire wagons back there. Right, thanks, Thomas. Okay, lads, just like before. Get it done!
With the same proficiency as before, Mickey and his crew quickly extinguished the flames.
Phew, that was close. Of course it could have been avoided altogether if not for the actions of a certain dim-witted tank engine.
Never mind, Colin. We all make mistakes. Thanks for helping me. You're welcome. After he was finished at Wellsworth, Mickey delivered Thomas to the works at Croven's Gate. In the nearby transfer yard, Percy Scarlowy and I had been working and were expectantly anxious at the sight of our number one being shunted. I say, Thomas, are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. Just a broken piston. How did that happen? There was a fire at Wellsworth and Thomas came to the rescue of an injured workman. I say, well done, old boy. Thanks, Edward. Yes, good job, Thomas. Thanks, Chief. Now, don't do it again. I'm sorry? What you did today was very brave, Thomas, but also very foolish. You could have been seriously hurt. I survived, only because Colin came to your rescue. If he hadn't, or if I'd been a minute late, you might not be here. Like I said, bravely done, but heroics don't impress anyone. People get hurt that way. Your broken piston is proof of that. We all fell silent as we mulled over the Chief's words. In truth, he had a point. Nonetheless, I gave Thomas a congratulatory smile, which I think he appreciated. It took several days for the repairs to be completed at Wellsworth as the old track was replaced and the damaged rolling stock was scrapped. I'm told Mr. Zorro gave Colin and Diesel a vicious scolding, holding them both responsible for the blaze and the damage incurred, which the middies had to pay for. Not long afterwards, Mickey gave both sides a long, dull lecture on fire safety. But something he said that day must have stuck, as it was many years before the island experienced another serious fire incident. Something very unexpected came out of this ordeal. Thomas and Colin became friends and managed to work together amiably on several occasions. Their example did inspire greater cooperation between middies and nor'easters, but not entirely so.